Amina stood in the doorway holding her husband's phone, her hands shaking so badly she almost dropped it. The house was quiet, too quiet, like it was holding its breath. On the screen was a message she was never meant to see. Last night was a mistake. My wife is getting suspicious. Her heart slammed hard against her chest as if it wanted to escape. She looked up and saw Daniel sitting on the couch, calm, relaxed, like nothing was wrong. The man she trusted. The man she defended in front of friends and family. The man she built her life around. Who is she? Amina asked, her voice low but sharp. Daniel didn't answer right away. He just sighed, annoyed, like she had asked the wrong question. That silence hurt more than a slap. Memories rushed in. Late nights at work, sudden trips, his phone always face down. She had ignored every sign because love made her blind. Now the truth stood between them, ugly and heavy. Daniel finally spoke, but not to apologize. You're overreacting, he said. In that moment, Amina felt something break inside her. Not just her trust, but her marriage. And she knew nothing would ever be the same again. Amina was not always this quiet, broken woman standing in her living room. She used to laugh loudly, dream boldly, and believe deeply in love. She met Daniel 7 years ago when she had just moved to the city for work. He was charming, confident, and made her feel seen. When they got married, Amina believed she had found her safe place. They lived in a small but neat apartment in a busy neighborhood. From the outside, their marriage looked perfect. Daniel worked in real estate and earned good money. Amina worked as a customer service manager at a bank. She paid most of the bills when Daniel's business slowed down, never complaining. She believed marriage was teamwork. But slowly things changed. Daniel became distant. He criticized her more and listened to her less. He made jokes that hurt and called them truth. When Amina tried to talk about her feelings, Daniel accused her of being too emotional. She began to doubt herself and stayed silent to keep peace. Amina had no family nearby. Her parents had passed away years ago, and her younger sister lived in another state. Daniel's family, especially his mother, often blamed Amina whenever there was tension in the marriage. Amina felt alone but kept pushing forward, hoping love would fix everything. Now, after seeing that message, Amina felt trapped between fear and reality. If she left, she risked losing her home, her stability, and the life she worked so hard to build. If she stayed, she would lose herself. Her heart was heavy, and the weight of the choice before her felt unbearable. Amina couldn't sleep that night. Her mind kept going back to the message on Daniel's phone. She tried to convince herself it was a misunderstanding, that maybe she was reading too much into it. But deep down, she knew she had seen the truth. The next morning, Daniel left for work without a word. Amina waited, heart pounding, until she couldn't take it anymore. She opened his laptop, the same one he always claimed was just for work, and started typing in his password. Her hands were shaking so much she had to take a deep breath before hitting enter. Emails, messages, photos. Everything she had feared was there. Pictures of Daniel with another woman. Emails planning trips she had never been told about. Messages filled with lies and fake excuses. Amina's chest tightened, and she felt dizzy. She wanted to scream, cry, and throw everything at him at once. When Daniel returned home that evening, Amina was waiting. She held the laptop out to him, trembling. "Why?" she asked, her voice breaking. Daniel froze for a moment, then quickly tried to take the laptop from her, his face turning red with anger. "This isn't what you think," he said, but the words sounded hollow, empty. Amina stepped back, shaking her head. The safe, familiar life she had known was gone. The betrayal hit her harder than anything before. She realized that nothing would ever be the same. She couldn't ignore it anymore, couldn't pretend everything was fine. Something had to change, and for the first time, Amina felt a spark of determination. She would not let this destroy her. She had to face the truth, no matter how painful. After that night, nothing felt normal. Daniel avoided Amina as much as he could. He came home late, made excuses, and acted like nothing had happened. Every time she tried to talk, he dismissed her feelings or blamed her for being too suspicious. The trust she had built over years was crumbling, piece by piece. Amina felt more alone than ever. Her friends tried to help, but Daniel's charm often made them doubt her. He would smile and joke in front of them, acting like the perfect husband, and slowly, Even she began to question if she was overreacting. But deep down she knew the truth. She just needed proof. Undeniable proof. One evening, Amina discovered another secret. She had been paying their bills and saving money, but Daniel had secretly opened a second account and was spending large sums on unknown things. He lied about work trips, dinners, and meetings. It became clear that he was living a double life, and the life she thought they shared was just a story he told her. The tension in the house grew unbearable. They argued constantly. Daniel accused Amina of spying and being controlling, while she accused him of betrayal and lies. Their fights were not just about money or trust. They were about everything she had given and everything he had taken. Amina began to notice subtle manipulations. He would hide messages, delete evidence, and gaslight her whenever she confronted him. Sometimes he even suggested she was imagining things, trying to make her doubt her own mind. It hurt her deeply, but it also made her stronger. She realized she could no longer rely on anyone but herself. Her isolation became both a curse and a wake-up call. She couldn't talk to Daniel, couldn't trust her friends fully, and couldn't ignore the damage to her own heart. Every day, the betrayal felt heavier, every lie sharper. Yet, amid the heartbreak, Amina began to plan. She had to take control, uncover the full truth, and decide her own fate. She refused to let Daniel destroy her completely. For the first time, she felt the quiet stirrings of anger, determination, and the courage to fight back. Amina had been patient for weeks, gathering every piece of evidence she could find. Emails, messages, bank statements, everything Daniel had tried to hide. She had copied it all to a flash drive and memorized every detail. Tonight, she was ready. When Daniel returned home, he was tired and unaware of what was coming. Amina waited in the living room, her hands gripping the flash drive. "We need to talk," she said, her voice calm but firm. Daniel frowned. "About what?" he asked, trying to sound casual. Amina didn't answer. She walked straight to him and placed the flash drive on the table. "This," she said, "is everything you've been hiding from me." Daniel's face went pale. He tried to snatch it, but she stepped back. "No more lies, Daniel. I've seen everything. I know about the other woman, the secret account, the trips, the messages." Daniel's calm mask cracked. His voice rose. "You have no proof. You're crazy," he shouted, but Amina stayed steady. She opened her laptop and projected the emails, messages, and photos onto the wall. Every secret he thought was hidden for good was there, clear for her to see. Daniel froze. His words faltered. Friends, neighbors, anyone could see the truth if they walked in. The power shifted completely. Amina felt a surge of relief mixed with anger. She realized she was no longer the scared, trusting wife. She was the one holding the truth, the one who could decide what happened next. Daniel tried to argue, tried to twist the story, but Amina refused to listen. Every excuse he made only made him look guilty. She finally saw him for what he truly was. Not the man she loved, but a liar who had betrayed everything they had built together. By the end of the confrontation, Daniel slumped into the couch, defeated. Amina stood tall, shaking but unbroken. The anger that had burned inside her for weeks transformed into clarity. She knew the next steps: legal action, protecting herself, reclaiming her life. For the first time in months, she felt a strange mix of fear and freedom. The truth had destroyed their marriage, but it had also set her free. Amina didn't wait long after the confrontation. She contacted a lawyer and began the process of separating from Daniel. It wasn't easy. There were forms to fill, accounts to secure, and difficult conversations to have. But each step made her feel stronger, more certain that she was doing the right thing. She moved into a small apartment nearby, a space that was entirely hers. For the first time in years, she could breathe freely without fear of lies or betrayal. She decorated it with simple things she loved: plants, books, and photos of moments that made her happy before Daniel. Each item reminded her that life could be beautiful again. Friends who had doubted her reached out once they learned the truth. Some apologized for not trusting her, and some helped her through the legal process. Amina realized she didn't need to face everything alone, but she no longer relied on anyone to validate her feelings. She trusted herself. The court case was long, but the evidence she had collected was clear. Daniel couldn't deny the truth. He faced consequences for his actions. financial settlements, and a public acknowledgement of his betrayal. Amina didn't feel satisfaction in revenge, she felt relief. Justice wasn't about punishing him, it was about reclaiming her life. As weeks turned into months, Amina began to heal. She started going out with friends more, laughed freely again, and even focused on her career. She realized that the worst pain had also taught her the greatest lessons: self-respect, courage, and the importance of trusting herself above anyone else. For the first time in years, Amina felt whole. She was free from lies, free from fear, and ready to live life on her own terms. She wasn't just surviving, she was beginning to thrive. One rainy evening, Amina sat by her window with a cup of tea, watching the water run down the glass. The apartment was quiet, filled with the soft hum of the city outside. She held a small notebook in her hands, something she had started writing in a few weeks ago. It was filled with thoughts, feelings, and lessons she had learned since leaving Daniel. She flipped through the pages, reading lines she had written in moments of anger, sadness, and fear. I am stronger than I thought. I am worthy of love that is honest. I will never let anyone make me doubt myself again. A small smile tugged at her lips. She realized that the woman who had stood in the doorway, heartbroken and betrayed, was gone. She had grown into someone who could face pain and still move forward. Her phone buzzed with a message from her sister. "I'm proud of you," it read. Amina typed back quickly, "Thank you. I'm finally okay." It was a small thing, but it filled her with warmth. She understood now that healing wasn't about forgetting or pretending the past didn't hurt. It was about accepting the truth, learning from it, and choosing herself every single day. Amina placed the notebook on the table and looked around her apartment. Every item, every corner, reminded her of a life rebuilt from pain. She thought of Daniel one last time. Not with anger, but with clarity. He had no power over her anymore. The betrayal that once threatened to destroy her had, in an unexpected way, given her a gift: freedom. The rain slowed, leaving the city washed and bright. Amina stood by the window, taking a deep breath, feeling the weight lift from her shoulders. For the first time in years, she felt peace. She was free to love, to laugh, to live without fear. And in that quiet moment, she realized something simple but profound: she had survived. She had endured. And she had won, not by revenge, not by anger, but by reclaiming her own life. Amina smiled, knowing the future was hers to write, one honest, fearless day at a time.